Segment 1 in 3, 2, 1, and rolling tape.
Welcome to The Voice. I'm Maxine Lang-Seals, and we have Clara Brett and Dr. Charles Monette. And we are here today to just voice our opinions on what's happening in the city, in the state, and in the community.
As well as the nation.
Oh, yes.
One of the things that we kind of talked about or threw around was voters' ID. One of the biggest conversations that was going on. But you know my take on that is that irregard to what anyone say that we're gonna need ID. Get your ID. Voters registration card, get your card. Have all of it together and be ready, because you know this coming election is essential and all kind of games are gonna be played, you guys. So why not just be prepared for it?
You know, Maxine, I heard a take on that. In fact, I saw a take on that. There was a young man, I'm saying a young man, but he was 85 years old. Now, where this would leave him out is that he could not get a valid ID because he does not have a birth certificate. So they're saying that these folk that you can't find a birth certificate for, that may be some of the older generation and people like that, that they would not be able to get this regular ID. Now, there is a vote-only ID that they're thinking about putting out.
Okay.
But what about the Bible? Many years the Bible was used in place of the home Bible.
Yes, yes.
It was used.
Family Bible.
The family Bible was used in place of a birth certificate. So why not use the family Bible to show when he was born, or maybe several affidavits that somebody might know him for a period of time, maybe 10 to 15 years.
But Clara.
What?
85, baby. Most of all our friends
Hello.
they're not around, and
well,
many people don't have a family Bible indicating some of this information. But what Dr. Monette was saying is that they would have a provision just for voting.
Voting only.
You're saying that ID can only be used?
Only be used to vote.
Well, that sounds like a winner,
Get
of course.
that ID, get that provisional, and let's vote.
In fact, they're saying that the ID will be free.
Yes.
It will be free. If you can't produce any other ID, you can ask them to give you this voter's ID, and right now it's free. It's probably going to depend on how many people have to go that route.
Reminds me of my mother telling me about poll tax, and remind me of my grandmother telling me that she had to pass a test in order to vote. Now here we go again with this same old mess, only on a different angle. The angle is, we know why.
We voted too heavy, girl.
We went too strong for Obama. That's all that means. That is our younger generation of young people did something that they weren't expecting to have happen, but they did, as well as the older ones that went out, by droves to vote. But I'm just thinking about how we come up with certain things that will cause us to have anxiety about voting. It's either the district changing its position, how you change the districts. That's what they were in court about. How and finally they came up with some idea of how the districts were going to be aligned, and that's only to discourage a voter. And I think that's wrong. I think you either decide if it's whatever is happening, you ought to have a chance to vote if you want to vote, and you shouldn't have to have a certain ID. It's enough just having your license and your voter's registration. So why you have to have a voter's ID to vote? We are all citizens in America. And those that are not citizens, I'm quite sure, will not be able to vote. But if you born in America and been here for 85 years, my goodness, how in the world would you decide that I'm not capable of voting because I have a voter's registration, but I can't vote because I don't have an ID. Now that's wrong.
Well, you know, I think that was just to disenfranchise those of us that voted in great numbers, the elderly and some of the young folk and that came out and voted for the first time. But, you know, when you look at this thing for in a whole, I mean, let's just look at it. This is a ploy to keep us from going out in droves. Now, they will let you vote in these provisional ballots, but that means you have to come back. Now, we already know when we saw in the last election that when you have to come back and vote in off year, we don't go back and vote that second time. And so that's what this is all about. But thank God that they did strike it down for right now. But we still need to stand up on that and know that eventually it will pass. So we need to start preparing ourselves. I heard a voice this morning say every pastor ought to go to his congregation and put it out there and ask for the show of hands of those that don't have a pictured ID. And then for those that don't have it, we make sure that we can go out and get them a pictured ID and then let it start from the church and spread out into the community that we might make a difference.
Well, I'll do that in my church. I'm a pastor too.
Amen.
So we'll do just that.
The other thing is that we have to make sure that you get your voter's registration. Now, they're going to be mailed out pretty soon.
Yes.
And make sure that you have it. And if you are not registered to vote,
go register.
Do so now.
Yes.
You can pick up a card at the Harris County office, driver's license office, any place. Or
library.
Or call us. We'll bring you one.
Yes.
And signed up to vote. And this way, no matter what anyone, you know, we have to be ready to face challenges.
Be proactive.
So when they put them out there, let's give them something else to do, because we've already defeated it.
And I'd like to remind the viewers that if you're going to vote for the presidential election, be sure you vote for the state election.
Yes.
It's important that we put the right people in the state, the right people in the city, and the ones also that's going to represent us in our as a representatives and Senate. We need them in there that are for the people and not for themselves. And the only way you can do that is to vote. And we cannot complain about what someone is doing and not doing if we don't vote. And I need you to think about this matter seriously. Register and vote for our local as well as our state representatives and senators. Anything?
You know, I feel so close to President Obama. I feel like I really know him. He sends me an email.
Yeah, he sends me one too.
He sends you an email?
Yes.
Too?
Yes.
Invite me to dinner. I'm going to take him up on it. If he keep doing that.
Yeah, just send your $3. He'll do it.
But having served as an elected official myself, it's tough out there. I don't know how he is able to stay there and go through all of the challenges that he goes through. And he keeps that smile and just keep on working. Yeah. President Obama, if you're listening to this, just hang on in there. We're all for you.
I tell you that.
I'm like you, Maxine. He seems to me as a people person, and that the ordinary people can touch. You know, he and his family do things that the everyday people do, and so we can take courage in that. And now we look at some of the things that have happened in there, and we're saying, well, okay, the president hadn't done this.
And that's a fact.
But you have to remember that when other presidents were in office, they didn't do it either. So now all of a sudden we're putting it all on President Obama just because he's the first black president.
I want to say this, that because a lot of us don't realize that the president doesn't have a lot of power.
Amen. Say that.
The power lies in the House of the Representatives and the House of the Senators. And they are the ones that make the laws. And the judges are the ones that what we call carry those laws out in court. Now, what we need to understand that what these representatives that we call Democrats and Republicans, I want to bring our attention to the Republican Party. They are good at propaganda. They are good at making you think that Obama is the one that is raising the gas prices. He is the one that's at fault at not having the jobs, and he's the one at the fault at not bringing themselves together so that they can pass a bill. All of that are they. They are the ones. Mm-hmm. They are the ones that's holding up the whole organization that we call the United States. And those Republicans are causing a lot of haywalk in Washington, D.C. And we need to get more Democrats in, or we need to get some independents that are not going to be with the Republicans.
Well, Clara, you are aware that there is a legislation out now to impeach President Obama.
Why?
Well, they want to impeach him because he acted without Congress approval when he went over and got bin Laden, and again when he went over and got, that is actually a deal going out now to impeach him.
Then that means that's why when President Bush was in office, that's why they didn't try to go and kill him.
That's why they didn't catch bin Laden.
That's why they didn't catch bin Laden.
If we had waited on Congress,
they never would have gotten it.
Okay.
Because Congress got to talk about it before, and he has the time to get away.
And they talk about it and put it on the news, and the whole news people know about it
before it even happened. So, do you want that man to be caught or killed? In this sense, he has been killed.
It should have been a big rally, shouldn't it?
I thought
we got him.
I thought he
finally got him.
Called Commander in Chief, and I don't think he should have to go through anybody else.
I think he doesn't either, because he is Commander and Chief. That means he can at least call a war if he want to. Maybe he can't do that now with the Republicans telling him everything he has to do and not do. Now, that's scary, that you can't do what you are supposed to do as a president. I'm thinking about gas prices. The gas prices are giving us a hard time in our homes. If you are working a distance from your job, that gas can really hit a hole in your budget for food and clothing for your children, simply to get to your job. And I've noticed that the gas prices are steady going up. And the last time I heard that why the gas prices was going up, and it was from President Obama, it was that the guys was betting, and I say betting is that they were speculating on how high gas will go. Now, somebody got to be lying some kind of way here, aren't they not? Well, how you feel toward that, on that?
Well, now, I'm going to say something that I know you all are not going to agree with, but the reason the gas prices are going up is because the economy is getting better. Now, I know y'all saying, what is he talking about?
Tell us.
But I want to show you something.
I don't agree with that one at all.
I want to show you something.
We're not going, brother.
If you remember, gas prices was up around $4 before, weren't they?
No.
Oh, they've been up here close to $4 before. This is
that's true. That's
okay,
true.
What happened?
Not in our part of,
And what happened? The economy went bad, gas prices dropped. You say, okay, what do you mean? This is what happened. When the gas prices are high, we don't travel and we don't spend that much money traveling. We put the money in our pockets.
Let's just stop at this point, step on our brakes, and that's going to save the gas for a little while. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back full force, burning a little gas.
All right.
In a Ferrari.
Welcome back to The Voice. As you know, we stepped on the brakes and we stopped the gas from going. not full speed. It was still burning a little bit there, because we're talking about how the gas prices are right now and the blame and where it's been put and all of that. And Dr. Monet, you were explaining to us about the economy and...
Well, we were talking about when the economy gets better, people have more money in their pockets. So when they have more money in their pockets, it enables you to spend more. When the economy gets worse, people put their hands in their pocket. They no longer travel. They no longer spend money. You don't take vacations or anything. So gas prices had to drop to accommodate that. Because as gas prices, as the economy come up, we have, I mean, it's been a slow rise. I mean, I grant you that. It's been a slow rise, but it has been a rise. And so they said the confidence in the people has been better. So now we take more cruises, we go on vacations, we can take the Disney trip and everything else.
But now with gas going up, you can't take the cruises.
But I have more money.
The cruises go up.
I have more money in my pocket, though. I have more money in my pocket.
And that's where it's going to
stay,
so
I can spend it. So I can spend a little more. But if it's down, guess what? I don't have that money to spend. So gas prices drop down to accommodate that.
My take on that is that gas prices go up because they know that you're going to spend the money to go where you need to go. And I believe that's the whole issue right there, is that we are not using that much gas, and our economy is not as good as you want us to believe, or possibly want us to believe. Because I'm looking at the fact that our people are still, a lot of people are still out of work, and the ones that do have jobs are being overworked, and that, I think that's wrong on the part of the companies to overwork their people to the point of working them every day 15 hours a day. That's wrong. I think you should have somebody to come in.
I heard that the economy hasn't gone up that much, but there are more jobs being created now. In order for people to get more jobs, statistics are showing that different companies are going in and the jobs are being offered more. So it hasn't gotten to the point where it needs to be to show that rise.
No, it sure
but
hasn't.
But it's working its way by the jobs that are being developed.
But there are less people on the unemployment roll. Yes, that's a fact.
Yes.
There are less people on the unemployment roll.
Okay.
And so with that in, that proves what
Are you speaking of Texas, or are you speaking of the nation?
I'm speaking of the nation.
You're talking of the nation.
Yes.
Okay. And then by the nation being down, that means that where we are, we consider ourselves as being.
I'll put that on our governor.
Oh, you putting it on? Okay.
Since we want to speak specifically of Texas.
Yes. I would like to just speak of Texas. I agree that the nation should be involved in our conversation. However, we live in Texas, and Texas is catching up with the nation. Look like to me, it used to be nice to live in Texas. The homes and the housing was down.
But Texas economy
and the economy was good.
Is better than
that's true.
75% of the nation.
It is.
Texas. Why do you think we have all these new people coming into Houston, Texas, and all around? They're coming in with new job starts, and they're leaving. The snowbirds are coming to Texas and to battle the Texas heat because job situations are better. You can drive down Alameda now. They have these condos that start at $450,000.
My goodness.
I said, who's buying them? And I told a friend of mine, Emilian White, that works for KCOH, sold his home. He sold it for $600,000. And he went out and bought him another home. But the home that he sold, they moved that one out, and he had a apartment house in the back. They put 10 condos in there.
In the
10 condos in that same space that he had his single house. And those 10 condos sold for $540,000 a piece. I say they'll never sell them. They are sold.
No, full.
All sold. How about that?
Somebody got some money somewhere.
Yeah, because it's sure not me. And possibly some of us that's out there in the viewing audience would like to have that type of money somewhere in our hand, or pockets, or bank, or whatever.
I'd like to see some of the businesses.
I like to just rub elbows with those guys and see what I'm not doing right.
But this is a take on that.
What is it?
The average home space is what? You're probably living in about 21, 23, 2,400 square feet of living area.
Right.
In the condos, it's about 700 or 800 square feet of living area.
That's smaller.
Yes. For
Okay.
400 to
Now, what's the advantage?
700. Well, now you're talking to the wrong person, because I don't see an advantage.
I don't either. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? What do they have that? Well, they don't have to mow the lawn, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, what's happening, a lot of the people are coming in, and they're in the medical field, and so that proximity brings them closer to the medical center, and they're coming from places where they say that they were actually paying $800 and $900. So when they see 400,000 and 500,000,
that's a big savings.
They are jumping on it, and I really didn't understand that, but a good friend of mine that was a realtor took me in and took me through one of them.
That's a
And
big
I shook
savings.
my head, and he said, but Charles, you got to see the real picture. I said, Alex, I don't see a picture. I said, there's nowhere in the world that I would spend $500,000 for this place.
Well, so actually, they must be coming from where you say the snowbirds. That's New York.
New York and
Minnesota.
they got their brownstones up here.
Minnesota,
They're coming down here and
all those
living
other
it up.
places, and where the cost of living is very high, and homes and housing is high in those areas. So naturally, if you come south and you see something that you paid $300,000 for, $500,000, $800,000 for, and you can get it for $400. That's a good savings. So that's probably why our prices are rising so fast in Texas, is because we have those New Yorkers that are just enjoying this good life, but they never known any other life but hard life, and paying a lot of money. And so maybe that's one reason why that is happening with us. Have you also noticed that we have gotten complacent? And when I say complacent, I mean that we can become satisfied. Yes. Satisfied with how things are working, how if it goes long enough, we'll just accept it. Say for instance, I'm back to the gas again.
Gas prices.
Say for instance, the gas prices, as long as it's, you know how it gradually has gone up from 79 cents? I can remember when I was a teenager, it was 25 cents. We could fill up daddy's car and ride all day, girl, for $6.
And my dad still had to tell me, he said, you know that car run on gas.
we can fill it up for $6, just run all day long. And part of the other days and everything else. But I'm noticing that every time you want to get people to do what you want done, if you give it to them gradually, a gradual move, and they will be satisfied at whatever you do, and not complain, and just accept it as, okay, I'll go along with it. I've noticed that how gas prices have gone up and up and up, and we have never complained about it. And I'm talking about complain to our not only our president, we should be complaining to our representatives and our senators, because most of the time they're not even paying any gas prices. They ride around in limousines. Y'all understand what I'm saying here? And they're not interested in our well-being. They're supposed to represent the people. And how can you represent the people when you are enjoying a good life? It kind of reminds you of Rome. How the Romans had to go through high taxes, had to go through a lot of things that they didn't have to go through because of their senators and their representatives. And we have the same thing happening with us today. Do you feel that way? That because they are so satisfied with their life, that's why it's so hard for them to get out of move them out of a position as a representative or a senator?
Well, you know, for
Staying
so long,
in for 50 years.
We've put them in,
and we forget
and they don't have anybody to run against a lot of them, and so we vote them right back in. But when we get to some of these points that we're dealing with, and I think the main problem with the gas is that when you talk about Houston, it's such a wide area, and most of the people don't live in the sub, in the inner city of Houston, but they're on the outskirts, and so therefore we have to you have to drive.
But when are going
bottom line?
When are we going to come up with something much better than a car? Why can't we come up with monorail? Something that's in the sky that won't even.
Well, Clara, that goes back to what you were saying about complacent, and I wish we had more time that we could talk more about that, because this community itself, we have come so complacent. Mm-hmm. There is so much that needs to be done. Remember when we used to have a Gordon Jewelry?
Yeah.
Yes.
A Kmart up there,
You're
West
right.
Toronto,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
all of those, and now we're
Yes.
happy with the Fiesta.
Yeah, we're
And
just
of course
satisfied.
They gave us a track, and we can't cross the track, and that becomes part of us. And we're just as happy. And those of us that lives in those big, big, fine homes, like you say, are just as pleased and don't realize that those like me that live behind you don't have, but you're still part of.
Yes.
Right.
So.
And we got to start thinking of others. We need to start thinking about others.
But let me just thank each of you for this conversation that we've had. I think it's been really interesting, and I hope that the audience have truly, truly enjoyed it. So.
And I would like to say that if you are interested in being a part of The Voice, you're welcome to come every third Sunday evening around about 3:30 p.m. at 11139 Homestead. That's New Faith Baptist Church. We will be recording right here, and you can have a voice. And on the behalf of Dr. Monette, myself, and Maxine, we are remembering that UHN 43.5, it's a lifestyle. Thank you for watching.